Hey there, envoys, I'm Kato, and this is a guide for Avowed going over the WOEDICA Totem that you can collect the pieces for in Dawnshore and set up at your camp for a total of 6 possible passive bonuses coming off of this one totem. I'll be going over the bonuses each of these parts give as we pick them up, and the order of pickup is going to be a Kato sweep, taking a single path around the map to pick up each piece. So let's get set up with that Totem of the Oathbinder, shall we? First stop will be the totem base itself, because that is required if you want to put the other pieces on it. So with that said, we will start with the Audra marker for the campsite northeast of Paradise, and take the bridge on the north end of the campsite up to the shrine to Woedica. Mind that breakable wood barricade, there's a unique back there. And if you head up the stairs to the main shrine area, where a helpful NPC will describe to you who Woedica is and his feelings on the other gods, and not care at all if you snatch up the one thing that is the centerpiece of this shrine. So now that we've picked up the base, let's move on to the other 6 pieces that will attach to it later. From the Shrine to Woedica, we will be heading west, over most of the region known as the Rise, past the Falls, the Northern Farms, and the Pilgrim's Path, to a ruin on the northwestern part of the map called the Pargrun Cache. You'll see this big old stone structure before the bridge with the waterfall behind it. And in fact, on that northern side of the Pargrun Cache ruins, there will be a destroyable wall and 3 barrels that you can shoot, or melee if you're crazy, granting you entry into the cache itself. So after you've gotten up the various wooden platforms, and loot as you see fit, the path will lead you to these broken stairs, to a still operational guillotine trap, and opening up to an area with specters and skeletons. Clear all this out, and the main path will be blocked by some roots over the doorway, where you'll be able to spot the chest that does contain the bricklayer's boots and some barrels next to a breakable wall. You can fire at the barrels from here, or charge through the wall like a maniac, and this opening will be around the left side from the door. Even though we've gathered the majority of the treasure of this cache, there's another hole in the wall a little bit higher up that takes you to the nearby cliffs that have a nest of some description which contains the Golden Scale of Order, and its bonus says activating a companion ability increases your damage for 5 seconds. How much of an increase this is, I'm not sure, but bigger numbers are good. Now, for the next piece of the Woedica Totem, we'll be going way to the southwestern side of the map to the lighthouse at Claviger's Landing. Regardless of if you picked this one up earlier, this is a quick ascent, and about halfway up the lighthouse, there will be a break in the wall that reveals the interior stairwell and the golden plaque of promises lying on top of a little crate here. The bonus you get from this piece is reviving a companion grants rapid health and essence regeneration. Now that we're done here, you can continue your ascent and grab the treasure map as well as the boots if you haven't been here already, and my favorite part, if you're adventurous, jump off the top into the waters below. Once you've dried off in Claviger's Landing, we will then head east for the next part of the totem, and it is located in Castle's Folly. These are the jagged rocks that have claimed many a ship and Animancer on the southeastern side of the Dawnshore Map. So head across the bridge along the outside walls of Paradise and through the shanty town, following the gorgeous green landscape to the rocky platforms here, where you can then jump over and then be in Castle's Folly proper. There's at least one encounter here that is tough to avoid, so once you've taken care of this early group of desperate smugglers, we can then go through this mineshaft style opening in the nearby cliff face, breaking through the wood barricade inside to emerge closer to our target. In fact, it will be right above where we emerge, just out of reach. Or maybe it isn't. If you continue scaling the cliff, you might notice that there's just enough texture to it where you can get to the ledge that would otherwise be just out of reach. It's that or fight some more smugglers, up to you. But once you're up here near the fiery brazier, jump across the way, and you might discover the Golden Flames sitting on a blanket near a knocked over lantern. The effect the Golden Flames gives is Second Wind casts Ring of Fire. And we're done here at Castle's Folly, but if you decide to stick around, there is a unique ring here as well as a quest. The next of the Woedica Totem pieces we're going for is the Golden Scale of Justice. And to start, we'll need to descend from Castle's Folly, go back to the mainland, and head to the southeastern gate of Paradise. If you take the main walkway right until you're on the edge of the market, there'll be a set of stairs up the side of the wall that will lead back into the Pearl District. We'll be entering that area only for a moment, as there's a lot of parkour involved with this one, and we'll be climbing up the scaffolding on the nearby building, then climbing up the nearby wall, then following that back towards the market until you hit the edge, where there's a little bit more scaffolding, and enough clearance to get to the artist's balcony nearby. Going inside, you'll notice that nobody's really been here probably for a while, as you'll have a web obstacle that you have to burn through to head down to the ground floor, where our treasure lies. And surprise, something is residing here, it's just not who you would expect. Once you have taken care of the restless spirits here, you should find the Golden Scale of Justice among the pile of books and other rubble in here. The outrageously powerful effect of the Golden Scale of Justice is that critical hits will deal high fire accumulation, meaning if your enemies survive you, they'll probably be on fire. And in my mind, this alone makes the totem worth it. But once you have that and you're done looting, let's head back out into the market through a convenient deadbolted door. Next we go for is the Broken Crown Jewel, and that is just pretty much down the street in Hightown. So just leaving the artist's house in the market district and taking a right, taking the stairs and walkways upwards to the Hightown gates, one loading screen later, you'll find yourself in Hightown. And the first business along your right will be Sansa's Emporium, which is where we need to go. Now, Sansa being the cartographer, he does sell the clues to the Woedica Totem pieces in the form of fragments of the scales, but these are just written clues and seem to work better as a reminder of where to find the pieces. But that aside, if you go into the back, opening the door, you'll see the Broken Crown Jewel right in front of you if you haven't picked it up already, and you'll be able to grab it off of Sansa's desk. And the effect of the Broken Crown Jewel is to reduce companion ability cooldowns by 15%. Once you're done in Sansa's place, we've got one more to go just outside town. For the next piece, known as the Golden Plaque of Oaths, not oats, oaths, we'll be taking the Street of the Gods northeast out of Sansa's shop and taking the God's Gate back out to the Dawnshore Wilderness. Straight ahead will be a ruin and rock formation known as Usher's Hand. Fitting, right between the index finger and thumb of this formation is a small cave below filled with water that emerges in a room covered by a metal grate. Behind the grate is the golden plaque that we're after, of course. So you can use a frost spell or grenade to get through the grate, or jump down the crevice nearby into the water and emerge next to the plaque instead. Whichever you choose, you will now have access to the Golden Plaque of Oaths and the last piece of the Woedica Totem, and this one grants the effect of +2 intellect and +2 resolve while it's active. Once you've picked this up, you can fast travel to camp immediately, and then you and your companions can become way stronger than they were before, and you'll get some extra lore on the gods too once the totem's complete. So now I'd like to hear from you, which of these totem piece locations brought you here, and why was it the artist's balcony? Let me know in the comments. If you're looking forward to finding the rest of the totems, I'll be covering those, and I also did a tips and tricks I wish I knew on Avowed, which you can find in the playlist here and in the description. If you found this useful, entertaining, or both, please do whatever you see fit to show that. Among the ways you can is by supporting on Patreon, like the golden godlings on screen now, including Wasteland Legends, Sven, and Rose. Special thanks to Dev Leon too. If you're looking for interactive maps, you can find those linked below as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Kato, and your expedition to the Living Lands awaits.